The first card you have for your past is the King of Wands. Okay, so the King of Wands is usually a go-getter, but he's kind of just sitting there thinking. He's not quite ready to do anything yet. He's thinking about what he wants to do. There's a lot of action that's ready to happen, but it's not quite happening. So what I'm seeing here is, yeah, I'm seeing love here. It feels quite frustrating to me, I've got to say. It feels as if someone looked as if they wanted to commit, they were ready, or they looked as if they wanted to, or they told you this. They might have even said things to you that made you think that they wanted to. But I think when it was time to actually do something, I think they were still kind of sitting there like this king. They weren't doing anything, so they didn't fully do that. I think they kind of led you along, made you think that this was going to happen. It's like, oh, I do love you. One day this is going to happen. La, 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 and it never actually happened. So, you know, he looks like he wants to get up, obviously. He's on the edge of his seat, and he's just not doing anything. And this was really frustrating for you. Really frustrating. The problem is, you know, you just love them. And I think that's why you kept on hanging on and you let them, you know, keep on doing this to you. That's what I'm seeing, sadly. I'm not blaming you. This happens to lots and lots of people. There's nothing wrong with loving someone. There's everything wrong with leading someone along, for, you know, and hurting them. That's what I think. So, okay, I'm seeing deadlines here as well. So you might have had, you know, these kind of deadlines in your head, in your mind. You know, it's like, okay, let's see how they behave after this time. Let's wait until after this date or after this time. Let's wait until after my birthday or their birthday. And let's see what happens after them. Let's see what happens. You know, it's kind of like that. So it was like you're giving them all these deadlines in your head. But then the deadline had passed and then you kind of say, oh, what about the next one? And you kind of let things slide again. I know I'm laughing, but it's not funny at all. It's very serious. So, yeah, if this resonates with you, obviously, it was very frustrating. I'm really feeling this frustration. And I think there are some other people around you who are a little bit frustrated as well, because I think there might have been some people who wanted you to move on from this person. And I think you might have stopped telling some of these people about what was happening because, you know, you just didn't want any more criticism. You just didn't need it. So you wanted to handle things by yourself. And, you know, you had to do this in your own time. That's the thing. You know, no matter how frustrating it is for you or for anyone else, you can't live by other people's timetables. You know, people can tell you, oh, leave, do this, do that. But unless you're ready, you're not going to do it. And there's no point in anyone else telling you that. You're just going to be mad at them and frustrated with them as well as the situation. So, you know, I actually think you still, excuse me, sorry, I just nearly had a hiccup then. I screamed at you, I'm sorry. I hope you didn't get a fright. I'm sorry if you're wearing headphones. Yes, okay, so you might still be on the tail end of this, actually. Just in your heart, you're still at the end of this, you're still kind of missing them a bit or thinking about them. You still have love for them. That's what I'm getting, even though you've moved on physically. Because I'm just looking at this lizard and I was thinking, you know, the tail end, and you lizards lose their tails when they grow another one. So maybe you've, you know, cut this person off, you cut this whole thing off, but you're still holding on to a bit of the tail and, you know, it's still alive. You know, when the tail comes off, it's still alive. Yeah, that sounds a bit disgusting. Sorry about that. But anyway, if this resonates, not literally, hopefully, yeah, if you're still hanging on to this person a little bit, you know, it just takes time. It just takes time to get these things out of your heart. So don't put pressure on yourself. Just let yourself work through this in your own time. I'm really sorry I was being silly in that bit. I know this is serious if you're going through this. Okay, so the next card you have, you pass the Five of Pentacles. Yeah, horrible, horrible card. I hate seeing this for you. It is in your past, so hopefully you've gotten over the worst of this. But yeah, I think this whole situation that you're in, very, very frustrating. It feels to me like you're in a bit of a maze, actually. That's what it felt like, I think, when you were with them. You're trying to navigate this maze, and there was no end to this maze. You just kept on going around and around this maze, and you're waiting to get to the end, and there wasn't any end. That's what I'm seeing. It's like, when are they finally going to do this? When are they finally going to do this? When are they going to tell me this? When are they going to give me a time, a date, anything? And they didn't do that. There was just no clarity. If you look at the people on this card, these poor people, they're trying to find their way into this church, where it's warm, obviously. And, it looks like they're kind of trying to find the door and they can't find the door. They're kind of walking around and there's no door here. And it looks like they're kind of walking around and around this church, trying to find the door, and they can't. They just keep walking around and around. And I think that's what it felt like for you. You're walking round and around and you're saying, where's the door? Where's the door? I want to go in. I want to go into the inner person. I want to go and be, in a proper relationship, or up to the next step, or whatever it was. I want to be committed to this person. But the door wasn't there. You couldn't do that. And I think sometimes it even felt like the door was being moved around and you couldn't find it. So yeah, you're out of this maze now, and someone else can try and find the door if they want to. But yeah, I think you're still working your way through this, getting this out of your head. You're away from them physically. You're absolutely away from them. But your heart's still thinking about this. You're still processing this. It just takes time. And I think, it wasn't a clean-cut situation. It wasn't like, oh, they did this horrible thing and then I was angry and I left and it was over. It wasn't like that. There are a lot of shades of grey here. And also, I think, they weren't horrible all the time. They were really lovely a lot of the time. You loved them. They were very nice to you. They're very kind. They did some amazing things. But every time you tried to get to the next level or the next point or where you wanted to be, the door wasn't there, and they kept moving the door around and changing the dates and the times around, saying, oh, after this time this might happen, or maybe this, maybe that. It was all very vague and it just never happened. So that's what I'm seeing. Okay, so the last card you have, your past, is the Ace of Swords. Yes. Okay, so I'm really glad you have this, because this is all about clarity. This is the clarity card. There's no other card about clarity that's above this one. So yeah, I was seeing all these shades of grey, very, very ambiguous. You didn't know where you were. And I think after a while, what you realised was you got to this clarity thinking. You got to this Ace of Swords where it was no nonsense. And I think you just realised, if someone's not being clear with you, if someone's not telling you exactly what the situation is, where you are with them, that's a message in itself. They're giving you that message. They're telling you that they don't value you. So yeah, it's sad to say, I know, but you deserve a lot better than this, and you know that logically. I think you've always known that logically, because you kept on giving them all these deadlines, and you did have the intention of, right, if this doesn't happen by this date, I'm leaving. If that doesn't happen by then, that's it. But then there was no that's it, because you loved them, so you kept on going with this. But you knew that logically. It was just that your heart was in a different place to where your mind was. So if this is all resonating with you, all you can do really is just keep on moving forward day after day. You will get there. Your heart will catch up with your brain. And it just takes time. It just takes time. That's all I have to say there. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. All right, so the first card you have for your presence, the Six of Swords, yeah. Again, so yeah, you're moving on now. Obviously, you still have, your heart hasn't caught up. Same thing again. So there are all these swords in this boat. You're still carrying some of this with you. And these thoughts and these feelings, I think they might be slowing down a few areas of your life. You might not be going out as much. You might not be moving forward with things. You're just kind of doing the day to day. It's like, okay, I'll go to work, do what I need to do, kind of a bit on autopilot. I'll get through this in the end. I know I will, but for now, I'm just treating myself comfortably, sitting around in my nice little hoodie and my comfy clothes when I don't need to go to work. And yeah, I'm seeing people and whatever, but I'm just doing the day-to-day thing. And that's because you've got all these swords in your boat. And, you know, these swords are very heavy in this boat. They're making the boat take a long time to get to its destination. And this poor man's having to struggle. He's trying to push it along, but it is getting there. Just know that even though this boat's slow, it's getting there. So you will get there. So try not to worry about how long it's taking. You know, it just takes however long it takes. So again, just be kind to yourself. Just let yourself get through this. You will. There's also someone else around this, and I think you might have tried to maybe hide the worst of this from them. It's someone around you, someone you care about. And I think when you're quite emotional, kind of at your worst with this, you hid a lot of this from them, whoever this is. And they were sheltered from most of this, I think. They were sheltered from the worst of this. But there was an atmosphere, and no one can help that. I'm not blaming you. I'm not blaming anyone. It's just there. You can't help it. And they picked up on that. They really did. So not all of it, just some of it. So yeah, if that's making sense to you, if you know who this is, you might just want to go and have a talk to them. Just open up, see how they're feeling, ask them in a kind of a gentle way how they feel about that time, and have an honest talk with them. Just be upfront, just be gentle, care about them as well. But because I think there are things that they'd probably like to tell you about that time and talk to you and kind of get clear in their mind. But I think they'd struggle with how to approach this with you. So maybe, yeah, so I think it should come from you. I think the conversation should come from you, actually. So if that all makes sense to you, try and start this conversation with this person, because I think they'll really appreciate that if you do that. Okay, so yeah, the next card you have for your presence, the Hanged Man. Okay, this is looking really good, actually. I like what I'm seeing in this. Okay, this might have happened to you already, but if it hasn't, you know, if you're still struggling with all of this and you're still kind of hanging on to this a bit, I think something's going to come to you very, very suddenly. It's going to be like a sudden thought or some kind of big revelation, and your heart's really going to change. It's like something's suddenly going to come to you, and I think you'll be pretty much over this when it happens. I know it's hard to believe that now if you're still going through this thing, but yeah, I think something's just going to sort of click in your mind, and then you'll suddenly see everything from a different perspective. Because when you think about this man, you know, obviously he's hanging upside down, but he was obviously, before he was hanging upside down, he was walking around normally, and he was seeing everything from one perspective, but now he's upside down, and obviously he's seeing the world from a completely different angle. And that's what's going to happen to you. You know, you're suddenly going to see everything in a whole new way, and it's going to be like, oh, okay, this is giving me a whole new perspective. Okay, I think I feel a lot better about this now. So that's what I'm seeing, and I think it's going to happen quite suddenly. And when it happens, you know, because you've been hanging on with this, like this hanged man, kind of, you haven't quite been able to let this go. You haven't been doing a lot of things in your life because you've kind of been just still dealing with that. So once you do that, you're going to let yourself off this tree branch, and you'll just walk away, and then you'll start living your life at 100%, which you weren't before. So really, really, really good. I really love seeing this. This is really fantastic. Okay, so the last card you have your present is the King of Cups. Okay, this feels like I'm getting this really beautiful. I'm just looking at all this water on this card. It's very beautiful. So I'm getting all this free flow. It's like free flow, and this is really what you're like as a Pisces. You like to be free, you like things to be flowing, you're very imaginative. So this feels very you, this card, and it feels very creative. I don't know if you do art or something like that. There was something, I think there was something you used to do when you're around this axe, I think, and I don't know if this is going to make any sense at all, but there was an opportunity that you had, I think, when you were with this ex, and it was around this, and maybe you lost that. You put something aside because of that. I think you've kept a lot of things, whether that's art supplies, it might be music, you might have been writing music or just writing. It's something creative. So I think you might have kept these things in a cupboard somewhere, or you put them away somewhere, because I think after this heartbreak, maybe you associated doing this thing with that time and this ex and everything, and it kind of hurts you to think about all that again. So you put it all away. But I think, when you're ready, see if you can open this up again, because I think this was a big, big part of you. It still is. It's a big part of who you are. You've just put it away. So, don't let this person, what happened between you, make you want to lock part of yourself away again. You might not be ready right now to even look at this, but when you do feel ready, just start exploring all of this again, because I think once you've kind of put this person totally away, out of your heart and out of your mind, I think you'll be even better than you were with this. I think once you're at a really big stage with this, you're working away on this, really happy with what you're doing. But I think it's going to be even better now, because you won't have that energy around you. It looks much more positive for you. So I think, I'm seeing you creating better things, lots of ideas flowing. It's all working really well. So, when you're ready, not now, but whenever you're ready, just think about getting that out again and starting that again. Okay, so the first card you have for your future is the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, I'm just seeing this. It looks absolutely beautiful. Okay, this is what I'm seeing. There might be a pregnancy announcement, or it might be a birth announcement, I think. I think the parents know about this, but I don't think anyone else knows this yet. It might be quite early on in the pregnancy still. And this card can be about patience. So whoever this is, I think they've waited for a long time for this to happen, a long, long, long time. And I think, I think it just feels like they've won the lottery, actually, or something wonderful like that. Look at all these coins. I'm getting the lottery winnings. That's what it feels like to them. I keep on seeing, it feels like the lottery. It feels like I've won the lottery. That's what I'm getting. So maybe it's because maybe there was a low chance of this happening for them, because I am seeing them trying for a long, long time for this, and maybe they had doctors say to them, there's a very low chance of this happening. So if it does, it's like winning the lottery. So so that's why they feel like this, I think. But yeah, I think you are going to hear about this soon. And this card's about healthy growth as well. So I think it's going to be a really healthy pregnancy and a healthy child. And this child's just so loved as well. Look at the way this man's looking at this bush next to him. It's like he's looking at this. It's like he's adoring this thing. And he's just thinking something like, I planted you and I watched you grow. And I'm just so proud of you. And I love you so much. That's what I'm getting around this. I'm getting this beautiful, warm feeling that this child's just so, so loved. It's so beautiful. I love this so much. So yeah, expect an announcement soon. And it's going to be a big, big happy shock to people, because I think a lot of people thought, no, this won't happen for this person or this couple or whatever. It won't happen for them. And, they've been keeping this, they know this, and they're going to announce this soon. Very, very, very beautiful. So much love there. So much love there. Okay, I'm also seeing, I don't know if this is going to make any sense, but I'm just going to tell you what I'm seeing. Something was lost. Now, it might be jewelry, with all this gold here that's here. So I think someone lost some jewelry, might be you. I think it's at someone's home, actually. It's not yours, it's at someone else's home. It wasn't stolen, they haven't stolen it, so don't worry about that. I think it was left there, and I think it's been put up on a ledge or a shelf or something like that. So that's what I'm seeing. It's up high somewhere. It's up high, so it might be a window ledge, might be a mantelpiece or a shelf or something. Okay, so if that doesn't make any sense to you, just ignore that. But I just wanted to say that for someone. I don't know who. Okay, so the next card you have for your future is the Knight of Wands. Yes. Okay, yeah, this is just a little warning that I'm seeing here. I don't think this ex is going to come back to want to be with you again or whatever. It's not going to be like that. So don't worry about that. It's not going to happen. I am seeing their energy coming into your life in some form again. Now, I just wanted to warn you, because that's what I'm seeing. Now, it feels a bit passive to me, actually. It's also a bit dramatic as well. So it's a bit, I know that sounds like a contradiction, but what I mean by that is You're not going to see them face to face, but you are going to see something of them. So it might be something you see on social media, maybe. Yeah, there's a little bit of drama around this as well. So, they might get into an argument online or something like that, and you're going to see this. And I think after that, you'll probably want to hide them or block them or something like that. It's not that they're really going to be affecting you really terribly. It's not that they're connecting with you directly. I'm not seeing that. It's just the impact of seeing them again. And, then you start thinking about them, and then all the good and the bad times, and then everything else. And I think just to prevent yourself from, from going down that really horrible, difficult, emotional road again. You just don't want to start even thinking about them at all. You're just going to start to protect yourself. So I think you're going to probably just block them or hide them or something like that, I think. So that's what I'm seeing now. It's going to be a little bit like, I think when you see this come up, you're going to feel like this feeling in your stomach, like, oh no, and then you're going to go, okay, no, I'm going to take matters into my own hands. I'm not going to sit there and look at this anymore. I'm blocking, or I'm hiding, or something. And then that's taken care of. So that's what I'm seeing. You're going to handle this really well. Okay, so the last card you have in your future is, the Nine of Wands. Same thing. Putting a barrier up, putting a wall up, protecting yourself, stopping yourself from hurting. Same thing as I'm seeing in the Knight of Wands. It's, I think by this time you probably would have absolutely 100% moved on from this person, but you're just protecting yourself in case you start thinking about this again and feeling all these things. And I think it's the right thing to do. I'm really glad that you're protecting yourself. It's really good.